Good morning and thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of TVC Breakfast. I am Kemi Fola-Adeyemo. Thank you very much for joining us once again. And Veronica Dan-Ikpoyi is, of course, here. Good morning.
Morning, Kemi.
Good to see you, bright and beautiful.
Same here with you.
Right. And by the way, it's day 4 of the collection of permanent voter cards across the 774 local government areas in Nigeria. So we urge, as we have been saying all along, to go out there and get your PVCs ahead of the general elections due for February and March 2023. All right. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari made the news on Wednesday during his visit in the United States, where he said he had done his best for the country since he assumed office about 7.5 years ago. He noted that the population of the country is huge. The challenges are daunting, but as far as he's concerned, he's done well. And there were reactions from all and sundry, some agreeing with him, especially when you look at critical areas, especially the areas where he said he would prioritize upon coming in as president. So, but then there are other people who don't agree with the president's
Of course, you have that because it is relative for everyone. If you say you have done well, to some they would say, well, your best is not good enough for them. Some would say that. There are those who would say, yes, you have actually done well. So it is relative. That's why I said it is relative as it stands. The president says priority projects. Recall at some point he had to say that, enough was not being done with regards to speaking about the things that he was doing across the country. Look at the road projects. Over about 43 road projects that the president says he has carried out as it stands, talking about how the things he has impacted the areas of power, the areas of security. The government says, you don't recall that the ministers are doing something now where they're talking about President Muhammadu Buhari's scorecard, and each of the ministers are coming out to speak on what the president has been able to achieve, talking about lifting about 100 million Nigerians out of poverty with regards to the social intervention programs they implemented, and the aspect of security, buying of equipment and all of it to fight insecurity despite the challenges they had. Recall that during President Jonathan's regime, the U.S. was not giving him the needed support with regards to buying the needed equipment, to fight insurgency. But the president now has come out to say he was able to get, some of this equipment, to talk about the Tucano jets, talk about all of it, that he was able to get that to addressing insecurity, and that some local government areas that were under the Boko Haram terrorists at the time, they were able to, take that over and all of it. But then it is still relative. A lot of Nigerians will tell you they are not satisfied, but he has told you he did his best. When you look at the number of Nigeria, our population, over 200 million as it stands. Yes, we haven't done a census to confirm if that really is the number that we are, but we see that we have a growing population. And it is difficult, if you would want to critically assess, it is difficult to really address some of these things. Some of the critical infrastructure,
of them, in fact.
Yes, critical infrastructure on the ground may not be able to, go around for everyone to partake in. But he says he has done his best to improve on all of it. But we see countries like India, what they have been able to do with the number of their population. We see some other countries, what they've been able to achieve with their population. Have we been able to ride on that number to achieve the best we can? He has said he has done his best, so we give it to him.
It's even been said that perhaps in those areas where the Buhari administration has done, pretty well, perhaps the minders of the presidency, or the presidency hasn't done so much in, driving, these
recall I mentioned it earlier,
right,
when he said that they were not speaking about some of his projects well enough. Look at the second Niger bridge that will be opened today. To ease the traffic on the first Niger bridge. That is what
Absolutely.
it is. We have seen the road projects that is ongoing, and some are still ongoing as we speak, that have been done, and those that are ongoing.
Especially in the area of infrastructure. Absolutely. Yes. You know, there's been, it's pretty obvious, there's been work. And of course, as we're talking about, you know, the loans and, you know, where have the loans gone to? What benefits have it done us? You know, the government has also spoken about that these infrastructural projects are also essential, especially when you look at the nexus between infrastructure and security. How do we ply, you know, the roads? How do we make our roads, you know, motorable? You know, all these things also, you know, matter to people.
And you can also look at the repatriation of funds. This administration, we had about 3 or 2 or more of repatriation of funds in this administration.
Which have also been channeled.
Which have been channeled to some of these projects and the social intervention program.
Absolutely.
So we must not forget that as well. Then we recall that we had the COVID era, where a lot of things were grounded.
Right.
So we must, whether we like it or not, the president did his best. Whichever way you want to see it, he did his best, the best that he could. And we must also recall that he's not the only one, you know, that was at the center of it all. Yes, it is him that is driving whatever has been done, but he handed people some of these responsibilities to deliver on.
Oh, of course, the buck stops at his table, and history will judge him right now as to, you know, how was he able to handle the affairs of Nigeria during his reign. And of course, May is a few months away. Many are still expecting that even though he's done his best, he can still, you know, do more. The government can still do more. In the ministerial scorecards that, you know, they've been presenting for a while now, they are still, like yesterday, there was the Ministry of Power that came to present, and there were still, you know, assurances that, you know, there were still more deliverables that Nigerians should expect.
22,000 megawatts is
should
what
expect. The Siemens project, you know, that has been long-standing, you know, and so many other areas. So, well, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how
improvement in the Electoral Act as well. So there's so much to talk about with regards to what he says.